I am Abiola Lawal.
My name is Courtney Lopez.
I'm Dan Sedlacek.
This is our PSP project, creating lesson plans for Miami University's natural areas educational space. Miami University plans to develop an outdoor educational space, and the target audience are third, fourth, and fifth grade students. Previous work done by a group of graduate students from the Institute for the Environment and Sustainability revealed that provision of lesson plans that aligns with Ohio's learning standard for science will encourage local teachers to use the space. Hence, the purpose of our research was to develop lesson plans for the Miami University's educational space. And we created 2 lesson plans for each grade and 6 lesson plans in total. The map on the next slide shows the location of the proposed educational space, which is a 14-acre space surrounding Duet Cabin within the Miami natural areas. This slide shows the proposed design of the educational space by the previous group of graduate students. To develop our lesson plan, our team interviewed educational experts, teachers from Talawanda School District, and we reviewed 30 pre-existing lesson plans for our example. Our interviews and research revealed that our lesson plans must align with Ohio Learning Standard for Science, a standard educational framework, and it must have clearly labeled sections.
Moving on from the findings, I would like to present the lesson plans that we created. Our teams created 6 lesson plans, 2 lesson plans for each grade. Each lesson plan aligned with Ohio's 2018-2019 Learning Standards for Science, followed the 5 E's lesson framework, and all follow the same readable format. The next few slides showcase how lesson plans are set up. Each lesson plan includes skills used, performance objectives, and what learning standards educators will achieve by completing the lesson plan. There's a background section in each lesson plan that describes the lesson in detail for the educators to follow, as well as a section for teacher preparation to better prepare the teacher for what materials that could be needed for that lesson. The field investigation portion is a step-by-step walkthrough of the lesson that the educator can use to follow the 5 E's learning procedures. This procedure includes sections such as engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. At the end of each lesson plan, we added extra materials such as weather alternatives, extensions, adaptions, and assessments ideas for the educators to use in their classrooms. In addition to the extra materials, there's a glossary, references, and resources for educators if they're unfamiliar with the topic that the lesson plan covers.
Now that we've seen the lesson plan format, we'd like to share several recommendations we have for the continued development and implementation of our lesson plans. Our first recommendation is that teachers are given a chance to pilot the lesson plans and send their opinions back to the Natural Areas Committee. Our second recommendation is that we hope the Natural Areas Committee will reach out to other departments, including the Education Department, to further develop and refine the lesson plans, as well as create new ones. Our third recommendation is to explore financial support options that will allow students and teachers to get materials and transportation to the sites. Our fourth recommendation is that the current lesson plans, once they've been tested, we recommend expanding the target audience to students from kindergarten through 8th grade. Our fifth recommendation is to create lesson plans for other areas, not just the educational space off Route 73. Our sixth and final recommendation is to explore options to make the educational space more accessible for students with disabilities. We'd like to thank Dr. Tom Christ and Jim Reed, who are our close guiders for this project. We'd like to thank Steve Sullivan and Julie Robinson for their help through the Hefner Museum. We'd like to thank Shelby Franchak for helping us with research and for spending a lot of time working with us. And we'd like to thank Susie Zizicki, Jonathan Levy, and all the other IES staff for their support and help during this process. Thank you for taking the time to view our presentation, and we look forward to answering any questions that you may have about the project.